In the last episode of The Tallest in Life, we loaded the RV with the bikes and traveled from Georgia to Spearfish, South Dakota, where we unloaded the bikes and prepared for the Sturgis motorcycle rally. In this episode, we'll ride the beautiful Spearfish Canyon. We'll visit the old historic town of Deadwood and pay our respects to Wild Bill Hickok. All this and more coming up next. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today we have a very special guest in the Tallest in Life garage, and that's my twin brother David. Welcome to the garage, man.
Hey, I'm glad to be here, man.
You know, we had a great time in South Dakota attending the 80th anniversary of the Sturgis motorcycle rally. But we found out that Sturgis is just a small part. There's so much to see and so much to do.
You know, that's true. This trip is one of those trips that we wasn't sure if we would ever make because we just kept pushing it off year after year after
Always
year.
next year.
Always next year. So it took us 25 years to finally make it out to South Dakota, but we finally made it.
Yeah. Let's talk about our first day of riding. What do we do?
Yeah, so our first day was a pretty full day. We rode down to Spearfish Canyon, toured that area, which is absolutely beautiful, and then from there we went over to the old historic town of Deadwood.
Yeah.
In fact, let's roll that video. So today we're going to leave Spearfish and we're going to take 14A down, and we're going to take the Spearfish Canyon Scenic Highway, and we're going to look that all the way around to the old town of Lead, founded in 1876. And after we hang out there for Lead for a while, we're going to drive up to Deadwood.
And so we left the RV park and traveled a short distance to the Spearfish Scenic Byway as we enter the Black Hills National Forest. And let me tell you, the ride did not disappoint. This is about a 19-mile ride with breathtaking scenery. Geologists say that this canyon began to form some 30 million years ago, with its rugged, steep limestone walls that tower on both sides of the road. Those walls stand over 1,000 feet tall. The speed limit here is 35 miles an hour, but I think we traveled even a little bit slower. In fact, it was a real challenge to keep our eyes on the road while trying to see all the beauty that surrounded us. Teddy Roosevelt, the 26th president, hunted in the canyon in the 1880s with his friend Seth Bullock, the sheriff of Deadwood. Here they hunted deer, bear, and mountain lions. Speaking of wildlife, 1/3 of all accidents in South Dakota involves wildlife. So we were always on the lookout for animals that live in and around the area. And you know, after passing the Bridal Veil Falls, I began to reflect on where we were and how fortunate we were to be able to see such natural beauty. And you know, as a first timer to this part of the country, I had to ask myself, why did it take me so long to make it out here? did wonder, however, how did this all look before this road was built? What's on the other side of those canyon walls? No worries, I just settled in, listening to the echoes of the Harley engines bounce off those beautiful canyon walls. Man, that was a beautiful ride. The scenery was just absolutely breathtaking. Almost wish we had time to turn around and run it the other way. In fact, next year we'll probably do that.
Yes, but now from here, we left to go over to the old historic town of Deadwood.
Yeah, all right. After riding the scenic byway, we turned toward the old town of Deadwood, South Dakota. As we entered the old historic Main Street, I knew the town had changed drastically from its origins of the 1800s, and as the town was portrayed in the wildly popular HBO series Deadwood. But hey, I was hopeful that it was somewhat similar, and as we turned on the main street, it was quickly apparent it wasn't to be. Come with us now as we take a ride down the historic Main Street of Deadwood. We're still 3 days out from the official start of the rally, but you can see there's still quite a bit of motorcyclists here. The story of this old town is similar to many other old western towns. It came about through the discovery of gold. When gold was discovered in the southern Black Hills in 1874, well, that set off one of the great gold rushes in America. And in 1876, gold miners moved to the northern Black Hills, where they came across a gulch filled with dead trees, but a creek filled with gold. And Deadwood was born. It's said that this town attracted outlaws, gamblers, and gunslingers, and one of its most famous was, of course, Wild Bill Hickok, who was actually shot and killed just a few weeks after arriving here. Deadwood almost became another old western ghost town, but it was reborn in 1989 when limited wage gambling was legalized. Today, the town is booming once again, with modern-day casinos, resort hotels, spas, and big-name concerts. Hey, they've been entertaining guests here since 1876. Deadwood has stood the test of time. It was all but washed away in a great flood in 1883. It burned down twice when major fires broke out in 1879 and 1894. And although much has changed in the old town, elements of its old history remain, like the historic Bullock Hotel, located here on Main Street, built by Sheriff Seth Bullock and his business partner, saw a star, fortunately after the second fire. It's the oldest hotel in Deadwood. Today it boasts a casino, a restaurant, and 28 of the original 63 rooms. Also on Main Street is the historic Franklin Hotel. It was built after the 1800s, completed in 1903. It's hosted the like of President Teddy Roosevelt, legendary baseball player Babe Ruth, the famous actor John Wayne. Today it has a convention facility, and if you're into gambling, well, it has slots, table games, a poker room, has a large buffet restaurant and a steakhouse. And that's the Celebrity Hotel. It has movie memorabilia from some of Hollywood's most popular movies. And the town, of course, has many other hotels and restaurants. They have small theaters here where stories of the past are played out with actors dressed in Western era attire. There's the old historic Deadwood Brothel. This place was in business until 1980. Today, it's a newly remodeled 5-bedroom, 4-bath vacation rental. Not to mention, some say it's haunted. And don't forget, of course, Deadwood touts its famous locations of significant events in Western history. Here, the place where Wild Bill was shot and killed. Obviously, it's not this particular building. Remember, they had 2 major fires after Hickok's death. So who really knows how the actual structure appeared almost 150 years ago? But history does record that this number 10 saloon as the place of his death, not the current one up the street. Oh, and don't forget, they say this is the location where Wild Bill's assassin was captured, old Jack McCall himself. We enjoyed lunch and sitting high above Main Street and watching the bikes ride up and down. And just taking in all the beautiful scenery of old Deadwood. But there's one more special place we want to show you as we climb to enter Mount Moriah Cemetery and visit Wild Bill Hickok's grave. We begin our climb with a staircase that went on forever. That put us in a neighborhood that entailed even more steep inclines, to the point that I would share this piece of advice. So if you come to Wild Bill Hickok's gravesite while visiting Deadwood, make sure you ride up here or drive up here, because we've been walking straight up a hill now 10-12 minutes, but it sure would have been more enjoyable if I'd ridden the Harley up here. Just a word of advice. There is a road and a parking lot at the entrance of the cemetery, so climbing the mountain as we just did is not required. David took care of the $2 per person admission fee, and we were inside Deadwood's most famous cemetery. And after climbing some more, we paused to read the 2 markers for both Wild Bill and Calamity Jane. And now, Wild Bill Hickok's grave. In case you're having trouble reading that, it says J.B. Hickok died August 2nd, 1876 by pistol shot, aged 39 years. It says Custer was lonely without him. And as mentioned earlier, Wild Bill was shot just a few weeks after arriving in Deadwood. He probably never knew that he would never leave the old town. Next to him, according to her dying wish, is Calamity Jane. And you can see what a steep incline it is for those who rest here. And down there is Deadwood. So, after making a full day out of the Spearfish Canyon ride, our visit into Deadwood, and paying our respects to old Wild Bill, we hit the road through more of the beautiful Black Hills and headed back to the campground. After arriving, we called it a day and look forward to tomorrow's adventures. Be sure and join us in the next video as we travel to the Crazy Horse Memorial and we ride the Iron Mountain Road and are stopped by a couple of roadblocks. And then we visit Mount Rushmore. Well, that's all we have for this video. We hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you smash the like button and consider subscribing if you want to see more content in the future. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you'll be notified the next time we upload a video from the Sturgis Rally. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, be well, stay safe.